Good evening. I had a small piece in the first issue of the monthly on Palm Island, and I was told to make hay while the sun shone because the magazine wasn't going to last very long. I really want to thank tonight Morry, and I want to thank the amazing editors that I've had the honour of working with, and I want to thank the readers for showing up for this magazine. Tonight I'm going to read from an article that appeared in August 2013, and it seems like the print is smaller than it used to be. Werribee, Sunday, the 24th of March, 2013. Excuse me. On a clear blue day, late in March, a warm celebratory breeze blows in the Melbourne electorate of Lalor. Local businesses and sporting clubs are on the pavement inflating balloons that, tied to strollers or toddlers' wrists, decorate the air. A parade is coming, and as onlookers gather, one could mistake the annual, Wirrama Festival for the locals' merriment at the member for Lalor's latest political victory. It's only 3 days since Kevin Rudd declined to stand in a leadership spill. His village is supposedly burned, his henchmen banished. The Prime Minister steps into the crowd, targeting a toddler in her father's arms. "Hello, I'm Julia. What's your name?" No answer. "We're both wearing pink." Julia Gillard holds up the sleeve of her fuchsia jacket. "Your drink's pink too." Clasping her bottle of fizz, the child is as sullen as the father. The Prime Minister holds out her hand to a wider circle of constituents, but no one rushes to take it. She doesn't demur or shrink back, and when she thrusts her hand further in my direction, I find myself shaking it. Her skin is extremely soft. In the flesh, something about her seems amiss. I've seen so many caricatures of a dumpy, pointy-nosed redhead that I find myself surprised at her attractiveness. She is ushered onto a makeshift stage and sits at the centre surrounded by dignitaries. Dressed in black trousers with her pink jacket, she surveys the parade from behind sunglasses. A dance troupe does a cheerleading routine, followed by Coles employees pushing shopping trolleys full of apples for the crowd. Life-jacketed scouts sit in a canoe atop a truck bed, diligently paddling the air. A limping man leads on the Werribee Obedience Dog Club as his dog leads him. There are vintage cars, emergency services vehicles, the Salvation Army band with electrical guitars, and palm frond wavers celebrating Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. It's Palm Sunday if you need more symbolism. Tai Chi practitioners, dirt bike clubs, a collective of town criers, then Hare Krishnas clapping, chanting, clanging their bells. The Werribee Girl Guides has maybe 25 marching, but the dancers parade on and on. Pre-teens in full spangly makeup stop to gyrate before the town burgers. Does Gillard look on and wonder if there are any of her ilk hidden within these ranks, and whether they will find the road to power as difficult as she has, taking 3 tilts at pre-selection just to make it to the National Parliament? Or is she thinking of Rudd, whether this time he's finally been dispatched? Like in a misery of the man himself, someone in a giant dog suit comes past and, breaking rank, presents her with a doll that has Raggedy Ann hair and a Pinocchio nose. The media lurch forward, cameras flashing, and Gillard has to laugh and thank the dog man for his kindness. The crowd's murmurs don't bode well. The locals agree that she doesn't have their votes, some with more politeness than others. "They should fucking drown the bitch," shouts an older man with withered DIY tattoos. I wouldn't give her 50 cents. He's just shambled out of a local TAB, which is directly opposite the dais. Through the sliding doors, I breathe the nicotine air. Inside, the parade's master of ceremonies, describing the minutiae of each passing float, can't compete with the drone of a race being called. On a Sunday morning, the assembled crop of gamblers are more or less grafted to their bar stools, but past multiple TV sets, they have a direct view of their Prime Minister. "Gentlemen," I try, "you're betting men. What chances do you give her?" One toothless man has a face concave as an old boot. He sits with his clothes falling off him, a puckered indentation where there was once a mouth. I stare at him, guessing he's an idiot, then realise he's doing the same to me. "What do you reckon?" he says finally. "I don't know," I answer. His mouth hole again opens, and this breathing memento mori speaks what seems the truth. Everybody knows. Come September, she'll be out on her ass. Brisbane, Wednesday the 8th of May, 2013. I wait with a throng of male reporters in suits with tropical hued ties outside the gates of Autism Queensland's Brisbane headquarters. One man with thick orange makeup balances a fluffy black microphone while repowdering his nose in his compact little mirror. He glares at me, watching him. Shortly, a white car pulls up. The Prime Minister steps out and, sounding thrilled, a child standing on the other side of the fence calls, "She looks wonderful." Gillard is met by Queensland's Premier, Campbell Newman, and the two political foes stroll inside and sit down at a trestle table to sign an agreement that will give nearly 100,000 disabled Queenslanders specialised health cover by 2019. It's a piece of legislation called the National Disability Insurance Scheme, or the NDIS. It's a trademark Gillard moment. Through sheer tenacity, she's got it done, and Newman praises her determination, betraying nothing of the bitter back and forth that's taken place behind the scenes. But the suffering in the room makes all words sound slick. Crowding around the politicians are the reporters, and behind the reporters, trying to see past bulky camera tripods, are the people affected by disability. A 5-year-old is in a wheelchair and she can't talk or walk or eat. By her side is her exhausted-looking father, who's had to quit his job to care for her full-time. Near him, a 23-year-old man with an intellectual disability flails his arms and calls, "Mum, Mum, Mum, Mum," as his mother tries to calm him. People are gathered with psychiatric disabilities, spinal cord injuries, and cerebral palsy, and overwhelmingly they are with a carer who's a parent. After Newman leaves, Gillard stays on. "People want you to really understand their world," she tells me later. "There's something beyond anything to do with funding, and that's about being listened to." An elderly couple explained to her that they've been scared to die, not knowing who would care for their son, whose rare neurodevelopmental condition marks its sufferers with elfin facial features and brain and heart defects. This legislation gives them a degree of peace. Why has this warmth not reached the public? In the office, Gillard never misses a birthday. She plays words with friends, with her staff, and knits them baby clothes. But the press talk of this switching off when the cameras switch on. Gillard won't draw a straight line between her extreme shyness as a child and her sometimes awkward, locked-in public persona, although she admits, "Whilst I interact with everyone and seek to get on with everyone, for my truly innermost thoughts, I think I've still got a bit of reserve from the public glare. Whether that's a personality trait or a bit of protection mechanism, I'm not sure, but I'm conscious of it." That afternoon, on her way to the airport, Gillard stops to do a question and answer session at St John Fisher College, a middle-class Catholic girls' school in Brisbane's outer northern suburbs. Schools are apparently her favourite venues, and she's led to the front of the gymnasium while the girls stand wildly clapping. Until her final years of school, Gillard planned to be a teacher, and in front of this assembly, she has the bearing of a school principal. She picks one of the hands held high. "Prime Minister, how does it feel to be the first female Prime Minister?" "Thanks for that question," Gillard replies. "It's one I've been asked a fair bit, as you can imagine. Stepping into this role, I didn't do it in order to create the record of being the first woman. I did it because I thought I could offer the nation leadership on things that matter to me and that matter to our nation's future. Nothing's more important in it all than getting the quality of your education right. Outside, the sun bears down on the yellow brick classrooms and birds of paradise sprout in clumps from a ruthlessly mowed lawn. But even though being the first woman wasn't a driver for me, Gillard continues, I've been very conscious that it's perhaps changing expectations, and I very much like to think that girls of your age look at me doing this job and thinks to yourselves, it's not a closed path, and if one woman's got there, we're going to see dozens and dozens of women get there, and I'm very confident I'll live to see a time when it's so routine for a woman to be Prime Minister that no one bothers to count anymore. Thank you.